Hello everybody, this is DeanoGTO and this is the VK4502B review that I promised probably a couple of months ago, but I just never got around to doing it. And then they announced the 9.17.1 patch coming next, and it's going to have the changes to this vehicle, and I just went, oh shit, I have to get my shit in gear and do the review that I promised before it gets buffed, or before it gets changed. It's arguable whether that's a buff or not. A lot of people aren't totally sure about it, whether or not it'll get worse or if it'll get better. Because it's going to get 120 side armor, it's going to get nerfed to the lower front plate, and something else is happening to it. I can't remember what it was. But yeah, some changes are coming to this vehicle. So I'm going to review the pre-change VKB, and I'm going to review it again after the changes, just to see what they do and how they implement the vehicle after the changes. So yeah, this thing here is part of the mouse line and in the game at the moment, and because of that, it's slow and it's heavy armor. That basically sums up this vehicle. And also, like the current mouse, it has a really long reload time, and it's also, well, I guess that's pretty much where the similarities with the mouse end. Like, both of them have really long reloads, both of them have a massive amount of armor, but that's about all the similarities they have. Like, the mouse has more gun depression, the mouse has arguably a better turret, although some people would argue this is a better turret because it's a smaller area to shoot at. So yeah, that's pretty much all the similarities, and they have a turret at the back. That's about it, really. So yeah, this vehicle here is one of the strongest armored vehicles, tier for tier, in the game. There's no competition about like what is the heaviest armored tier 9 heavy tank in the game. It is this. Like it's not even a question really. Like if people know about this thing, they know how strong its armor is, and that's one of the main advantages to this vehicle. It's not a common vehicle at all. It's very rare to see these vehicles in games, and because of that, people don't really seem to know how to fight these things at all, and it's a pretty big advantage to people playing these things because it just means that they can just stomp enemy teams with ease and just annihilate them. And you're going to see very quickly what I mean by this, because look at this. Like if I angle this as an auto bounce angle for the side armor, like let's see, as far as I can get, let's see, let's angle about there. I mean, just look at the frontal armor; it's all red, and the weakest area is 285 millimeters thick. I mean, and look how small that area is, and as soon as you go a little bit outside of it, it goes up to like 300 millimeters, and like the lower plate is over 340. Yeah, it's absolutely mental, the amount of armor that this thing has on the front. And because of that, you know it had to have a weak point. I'm glad it does, honestly, because it means you do see some premium shots getting fired at this thing, but you don't get as many as some other vehicles do. Like, from my experience, well, even if you get premium rounds spawned out, you typically end up hitting the frontal plate, and the frontal plate doesn't give a shit. So yeah. The turret armor, though, is pretty weak, honestly. It's 252 millimeters thick, but it's pretty much flat. I mean, look at that. It's practically no angling at all. Maybe that's like 4 degrees of angling, but that's about it. But yeah, it also has an actual weak point, which is kind of rare for tanks in the game these days, because if you've seen the changes coming for the Japanese tier 9 and 10 heavies, yeah, weak points don't seem like a thing for those vehicles anymore, so yeah. I'm really curious to see whether or not they make like the cupolas on top of those vehicles weak points, because I think they should. Because in the future, you're not going to be able to deal with those things with like tech destroyers or a lot of premium rounds, so yeah. Hope they address that. Um, right now, this thing has probably one of the best armor profiles in the game. I think I said that already. I'm not totally sure. I'm kind of winging it. I've done this. I'm not gonna lie. I have recorded this, I think, 4 or 5 times now. And I keep fucking it up or keep rambling on for too long. Like the last one was 15 minutes long. I felt like that was far too long to talk about just an armor review. But yeah, it has an actual weak point, and my advice to you if you're driving this vehicle is to just do this. Raise the gun into the air and just kind of wiggle it back and forward in the general direction of the enemy that's shooting at you, and it makes it very difficult to consistently hit that. And sure, your gun might get damaged, but typically with this vehicle you're fighting at close range, so it doesn't really matter that your gun's damaged, and I very rarely actually repair my gun in this vehicle from experience. I just typically just like every time the gun's loaded, I aim vaguely at the target and just fire, and just fire just to see what happens. So yeah, it actually has a weak point. It has a relatively weak turret. It's very, 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 very vulnerable to heat ammunition, whereas the front armor just doesn't give a shit. And the side armor, it's okay, but you don't use the side armor very often in this vehicle. And I do not recommend side scraping in the vehicle. And that might sound weird because it's a rear-turreted vehicle, and a lot of people assume with rear-turreted vehicles that you immediately want side scrape. But in this vehicle, you don't, because it's only 100 millimeters. 100 millimeters sounds good on paper, but it's not as good as you'd think. It's very easy to slightly over angle, and suddenly all your armor's worthless. Just a very slight over angle, and you're just going to get panned by everything. It's annoying, but yeah. Once you learn the technique of tanking with your front, you will be basically God mode for at least like another like month or so. I don't know how long it's going to be that this thing remains the monster that it is. It's getting changed. None of the changes are set in stone, so I'm curious to see what they do with this vehicle once it is changed. So, on to the actual stats. I have the E75 here as well, just as a comparison. And just a quick run over the E75. E75 has stronger side armor. It's the same, almost identical turret. The front armor is nowhere near the same level, and in this vehicle, if you don't close the if you don't cover the lower plate on this vehicle, typically things are just going to go straight through you like butter. At least tier 9s and 10s. Tier 8s can struggle, but tier 9s and 10s don't give a shit, and they will just go straight through your lower plate. So yeah, that basically sums up the E75. At least for this, I might do my own separate review on the E75 at some point. Maybe after the changes for the VKB. Maybe I'll review all three of the German tier 9 heavies in one video. That'd be cool. I think that'd be really interesting actually. That's a good idea. I'm going to do that. I'm going to start farming money for the machine now. That's actually a really good idea. I like that. Note to self, do that. Okay, so in terms of gun stats, the E75 and the VKB are pretty much identical, except very, 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 very slight soft stat differences. In terms of ammo capacity, they are identical. Like all these stats are identical. And in terms of mobility, here's the biggest difference between these two vehicles. The E75 is capable of doing 40 in going forward, and the VKB is only capable of 30. And the E75 has more engine power, but it is a heavier tank by I think 10 tons. So it's overall got a worse part of weight ratio, but here is where soft stats come into effect. The soft stats for the VKB are horrendous, and if you go off hard terrain, you are immediately significantly slower than the E75. If you're on hard terrain, you're actually a bit faster than the E75 accelerating, but you're not going to be as fast top speed wise. But yeah, this thing here off of hard terrain is really, really slow. It doesn't get around very well at all. And I should also mention, here's what balances the vehicle in terms of its armor. Its tank traverse is awful. That's 20 degrees of tank traverse on a tier 9 heavy. I mean, E75 goes 30 degrees, and 30 degrees doesn't feel that great, especially because the turret traverse is so slow, and the VKB has the same turret traverse limitation. So this thing is not like the E5, where the E5 can just deal with things to flank it with no issues whatsoever, because it can turn as quickly as most tanks can get around it. So yeah, this thing here, if it gets flanked, it's going to take it a while to engage the person that is flanking it, and chances are you're going to get some damage into it while you're flanking it. So it's not exactly, it's not like an E5 where if you try to flank it, the E5 will just kill you. It's almost guaranteed the E5 will kill you, because the E5 is pretty horseshit currently. Although there are making some changes to it. I'm curious to see what it looks like after the changes. So yeah, and then there's armor thicknesses and stuff like that there. T75 gets slightly thicker tracks, and it gets about engine health, and that's really about it. And a better, the BKB has a better fire chance. The E75 must have like a petrol engine or something. So yeah, whereas this thing's diesel. So One final thing I need to mention before I leave Tanks GG is the ammo rack. Both of them have exactly the same health on the ammo rack, but this is where the VKB has a pretty significant weak point. From my experience, this might just be me, the ammo rack on both sides is about here. And if you want to ammo rack a VKB, you shoot it in this general area here. And if you get a critical hit, chances are you've damaged the ammo rack. And if you keep pumping shots into that area, you may blow its turret off, or it might have repaired, and you might ammo rack it again. It's intensely annoying to get ammo racked in this vehicle. So if you want to piss off a VKB, that's how you do it. But yeah, that's pretty much the main weakness of this vehicle, combined with the crappy traverse speeds and the long reload speeds. So if you drive directly at one of these things here and it gets a shot into your track and tracks you and you repair the track, this thing won't be able to respond for at least 12.5 seconds, and I think that's the fastest the reload can possibly get. So yeah, this thing here is actually easy to kill once it's on its own. You can easily kill it, providing you're able to outmaneuver it and just kind of, well, as I said, outmaneuver it. So yeah, I think that's pretty much everything I need to say. Oh, and recommended equipment I would use, well, rammer obviously, vents, because I don't feel like it's worth taking a gun lane drive on this vehicle. I feel like you always want to revert stab because that's just the way you do things at the high tiers. But improved vents, I said that is more useful than gun lane drive or something like that, because for improved vents, you want, like, the main thing I see for improved vents is you want the reload to get as fast as you possibly can get it, and this is the best way you can do it. And you can also put brothers in arms on the crew, so you get under 13-second reload, and if you put food on it as well, I think you get like a 12.5-second reload. See what I mean? So yeah, I think that's pretty much everything I need to cover. That's the recommended setup I would use. Although I wouldn't recommend chocolate, actually, thinking about it, so I wouldn't do that personally. I would do this, more per kit, and medkit. Where's the medkit? There it is. So yeah, that's my setup, I think. That's pretty much identical to my setup. So yeah, I don't have brothers in arms, I should say, on this particular crew. This is I've got my Mouse crew in my VKB right now because I sold the Mouse ages ago and I stuck the crew in the VKB because I was bored. So yeah, I don't have brothers in arms. I don't have all of the things, but I do have clutch braking. So my traverse speed is a little bit better than most people's, but it's still not great. And off-road driving is actually a really viable choice with the current version of the vehicle. I'm not sure what they're going to do with the Panzer 7 changes whenever that thing comes to the game. So yeah, this is the setup I would say is best for this vehicle in the current state. In its current state. So yeah, I think that's pretty much everything I need to cover. Yes, I know this is still like 13 minutes long, but just to give me an idea of how long my other recordings were, I was just getting started with the ammo rack issues and stuff. About 3 or 4 minutes in the future for some of my other recordings, and I'm still talking about like the past versions of this vehicle. I decided that nobody really cares about the past of the vehicle. Nobody really like cares that much about like how bad it used to be. So I just kind of skipped that entire section, and yeah, I feel like I've summed everything up. So on to the replays, where I will discuss the general vehicle in further detail, and also I have a game which is mainly just showing off the raw armor, and I have a game showing off its main just how well it can tank in like an up close brawl of a fight. So yeah, at least I think I still have the first one. The first one is the one where it's just like a troll game where I just don't fire the gun and just let stuff shoot me, which I just did for the crack because I was bored. Yeah, so I think that's pretty much everything. So on to the replays. And we're back with the replay. For some reason, the chat from the last time I loaded it up is still there. Never mind. ignore all the bits above that guy saying I never win with the VKB. Ignore all of that because I had to rewind the video, or not the video, the replay file because it kind of fucked up. But that guy saying I never win with the VKB, I want to bring attention to that there because, well, to my response to him was, I was trying to, I was trying to be funny because I thought he was like saying like I never win with this tank, but I never win with no, like I thought he was like doing one of those things where he said he complains about like I never win with this tank even though it's an OP tank. Well, I don't think this tank is totally overpowered, but I think it's just this thing is very strong, but it's very easy to outmaneuver. Very easy to outmaneuver. It's like outmaneuvering a T85. It's not hard. But a T85 with a turret. It's about the only difference. But I was thinking maybe this is one of those guys that doesn't know that the front armor is how you use the armor of this vehicle, and not the side armor like most other German vehicles. But yeah, I meant to say something at the start, but yeah, just gonna move forward and just kind of show off the general like effectiveness of this thing, and it just seems to be this replay for some bizarre reason. The FPS is just trapping randomly, and I'm not entirely sure why. Like the recording FPS is coming up as 29 right now, and it's going down to 24. I guess I'm gonna have to ignore that because I've changed a bunch of stuff, closed everything running in the background, and it's still doing it. I don't know why. So I guess that's just gonna be the way this replay comes out because it's some replays do this where I've actually cancelled a couple of videos coming out because of this issue, but this one here I feel like I want to show this replay because it's a good replay. Yeah, this Grill 15, I don't know what I damaged on him, but he just kind of sits there and lets us kill him. I mean, he's a Grill 15. I must have taken out his engine or something. But yeah, he's put a shot, and I think it was straight through the front of my turret. Let's just look. Yep, straight through the front of the turret. The front of the turret to Tier 9 and 10 tank destroyers is a weak point. They don't give a shit about your 252mm of armor. That's nothing to them. That was extremely lucky, not gonna lie. You'll see my luck in the second game, which I actually recorded first. My normal kind of luck in the VKB in terms of like shots and where they go. So yeah. Let's see, just gonna kind of motor around the corner, and this is where I say I'm glad this thing has a weak point, or else it wouldn't be able to penetrate itself. And luckily enough, I would say it's a really big weak point. And here's one of the most annoying, like, this frustrated the crap out of me whenever I was playing this game. I was trying desperately to kill that T110E4 as fast as I could so you wouldn't like pop out randomly at some point and do like 750 alpha damage to my face. So yeah, the VKB is not the main target right now. It's the T110E4. I need him dead. I should have just loaded a premium round because I forgot how annoying that fucking Capola is. It's frustrating as hell because it just kind of bounces random shots, and luckily he didn't aim a shot for some reason, and he kind of let me shoot him. And yeah, I bounced again. This is the RNG factor of the gun. Like, if I hit the center of his weak point, I'm going to pen him. But if it's all about hitting the center of the weak point, and it was really pissing me off at that point. If that shot didn't penetrate, I was loading a premium round, but I didn't load a premium round at all in this game. I don't think so. Yeah. Okay, here comes the VKB again. I think he actually pens me this time. Nope, never mind. So I'm on 2600, well 2700 damage. I am basically acting as the wall for my team to basically use to take shots and stuff, but they aren't really taking advantage of it right now at least. So I'm going to, after I realise that the live is behind a building, I'm going to pull out around the corner, and I'm just going to just kind of sit there in front of the enemies and just kind of let them shoot me, so that my team will hopefully notice that I'm doing that and move forward too. Stick a shot straight in that guy's. I was hoping for like an engine damage or a fire or something, but it didn't happen. But yeah, don't really care that much. WZ-120 is falling back. I'm kind of assuming he's going to get killed. The VKB finally pins me. So yeah, the WZ dies. There's a live in the background. There's a bat shot. Well, no, the bat shot's dead. Never mind. And I bounce off the VKB. See, this is where my luck with killing things that are on one shot kills comes in. Like, it's so annoying. I can't kill things over one shot kills. It's really annoying. So yeah, let's see. Just move forward. E100 in front of us. A bunch, 5,000 damage. I was basically the damage sponge for my team. So all of them have pretty much all above 2/3 health. So that was basically my mission accomplished. That was my main goal. 5k block strong tank. I actually forgot I said that. Yeah, this tank is pretty damn powerful. Anybody who tells you otherwise is lying out their ass. Um, so yeah, that's my more traditional RNG with this gun. Can be kind of annoying, not gonna lie. But that's just the way these 128s are. From my experience, at least, most of the 128s in the game are kind of like this. Other than the Yag Tigers 128, that's the only exception I can really think of. Just missed his gun mantlet, or else that wouldn't have penned. I'm not even going to pretend that cat would have penned. And there's the enemy VKB over there, and I forgot to actually mention there was 2 VKBs on the enemy team in this match. Yeah, that doesn't happen very often. I haven't seen 2 VKBs in a match in a long time, and at this point I'm trying to guess where a building ends. I guess about here, somewhere. And yeah, I aimed way too high. So yeah, I don't think I got any more damage out in this point. I'm just reversing about the place, trying to get another shot off. But yeah, I know I'm not gonna get another shot off, so I just gonna type GG and sit there. So yeah, that was a pretty damn decent game in my opinion. It's not. I'm gonna say it right now. It's not an ace tanker because getting an ace tanker in this vehicle is extremely difficult. But I feel like this was a game that really showed off what this tank is good at doing. It's really good at just being the thing that is at the front. It's really good at leading the charge. It's a very, very good assault tank. It's not very good. Like it's a very good assault tank and a very good defensive tank. It's not very good at flanking stuff though because of its weak side armor in comparison to its frontal armor on its turret and its hull. So yeah, I just had deja vu there randomly. I'm not sure why. Let's see. Anything else I really need to say? Oh, something I forgot to mention in the review. Because this thing top armor is only really 60mm, artillery do tend to shoot this thing. But if they hit the frontal armor, if they hit this thing's frontal armor, they don't tend to do that much damage in comparison to like other vehicles, like the T10 takes a shit ton of damage from what I've seen from artillery. This thing here, the raw thickness of the turret armor combined with the front plate armor, this thing can actually tank artillery shells relatively well because of just the raw amount of thickness it has on the front plate. So yeah, I think that's pretty much everything I need to cover in this one, and I've already recorded the other replay. So yeah, on to the stats for this game. Okay, so this was the more serious of the 2 games that I'm going to be showing off. So yeah, in this game I managed to do 3,600 damage, I believe it was, and I blocked 5,000 with my armor, almost exclusively with my frontal armor. But yeah, I feel like this game showed off just the raw power this thing has on the battlefield. This thing's armor is just so strong it can withstand almost anything, and only really tier 10 premium rounds can really contest with this thing's frontal armor, and even they struggle. But yeah. I think that's pretty much sums up this video, this replay. So yeah, on to the next one. Okay, and we are back with the replay. First off, I'm going to do the. Actually, well, no, I'll probably stick this one second because this one is more of a troll replay than a serious replay. I kind of think people probably want to see the serious one first, and I think I may actually upload this one just the video file on its own at some point, and just to show people how insane this thing is, because people don't realize how mental this thing was for a long time. And I sold mine immediately after getting the mouse, because well, I didn't have a crew for it anymore, so I thought to myself, no real point. I bought it back for the mouse gen, sold it again because the mouse gen didn't come, and then yeah, and then I got it back a couple months ago because I was curious. Was it still the monster that it was that I remembered it being? And yes, this was like this. I think the 3rd game I played after I bought it back. This was played still in December, so this is a 2016 game, so this is a wee bit old. And honestly, I wasn't sure if I think there have been a couple of micro patches since, so I wasn't sure if it would actually work or not. So yeah, I was glad to find out that it did. And I actually couldn't remember honestly if it was pre or post Swedish TDs being introduced, or not Swedish TDs, Swedish Nation being introduced. So I was nervous about it not working at all because well, the Swedish are in the game now. So yeah, okay. Um, I said this is the second game. This is the one that I mentioned where I just stopped firing my gun after a while and just let things shoot me because I was bored. And I was just kind of like, yeah, this is me not really giving a shit and just kind of, don't really care. Remember how I struggled with that mission for a long time? The mission I beat in the liver, the one for blocking triple your HP with and yeah, there's the RNG of the gun for you. For blocking triple the HP of your tank with your armor. If I had this thing, I wouldn't have struggled with that mission. I'm just gonna say that much, because this kind of shit can happen relatively consistently. And yeah, the gun kind of annoying to use. I'm not gonna lie, and I'm already blocked 3,300 damage, 3,800, 4,000, 4,200, 4,600. It builds up so fast. 5,000, 5,300. Yes, I do know that it's kind of cheating what I'm doing here, just not farm. Well, I did farm my gun that time, but pretty soon after that, I'm pretty sure I stopped firing my gun. I only do like 2,000 damage in this game because I just care that much about doing damage. So yeah, something did damage to me. What the hell pinned me? I don't know. But there's an STRV in the background firing at me, I think. Yep, there it is. And you can just say Bounce City, and the KV3 is firing HE at me, which is kind of annoying. Yeah, no real fear whatsoever here. And the T-54A1, I just noticed at this point, is using the 90mm, so he has no hope in hell. And I just hear the sizzle. See what I mean? BKB gives no fuck about your heat rounds. And yes, my aiming kind of sucked, and also I do have a damaged gun, so yeah. But this replay also shows just how quickly the armor of this thing stops working. Like it's amazing how quickly the armor stops working because you have either angled too much or you're just not like looking or something. And yes, I did just bounce off of a T20 prototype, and at this point I'm not really worried about T-54A1 because I've got five friendlies in the background, or no, 4 friendlies in the background shooting at people. So yeah, I'm not worried at all. Over 10,000 damage blocked at this point, so I basically blocked the equivalent of 5 times my health, pretty much. So yeah, just still slowly moving up. And yeah, you get an idea of just how slow this vehicle is. And yes, this has been a total stomp of a game. And you may notice that I've kind of ignored the T20, no, not T20, the SE1, because I was just thinking to myself, yeah, there's a Jagdpanther 2 over there. He'll kill him. I ignore him. I'll take a couple hits from him. I don't really care. I still have 1,500 health. So yeah, let's just go. I'm ignoring him totally at this point and then I notice, oh shit, wait. The STRV is right there, and the Jagdpanther doesn't actually manage to kill him. I don't notice that immediately, so I do take a lot of damage from this fucker behind me because I just ignored him. And at this point is where I notice that the Jagdpanther that I thought was going to kill this guy actually died, and I'm just like, well, shit. Almost died in this game because I was just being cocky as hell. So yeah, well, and then it's actually, yeah, this is one of the good things about. Oh, god damn it! I thought I hit that shot. Damn it! I only have 800 damage. Yeah, that just gives you an idea of like how little I really cared in this game. I was just driving forward and just spamming shots whenever I was loaded. So yeah, I probably went off a couple of topics I started talking about, but I don't really mind that much. So yeah. T20 prototype is the last guy alive. I guess this game didn't actually show off my armor stopping working pretty quickly. I guess it kind of showed off more of just how weak the side armor is. And I do have the result screens for this one, but Actually, no, I was going to say I'm not going to show them because I've got these results here, but I may as well just show them. I probably won't do a commentary over them because I don't really feel it's necessary. So, this will probably be I actually think I'll probably do a separate commentary for this here and upload this as a video on its own because I feel like it's probably worthy of a video on its own because it's just mental. I mean, look what happened in that game. We just stomped the enemy team. It was just a complete, just total annihilation of the enemy team. And I mean, how often do you see damage block totals like that? I mean, look at that. 13,105 damage block. That's insane. And yeah. So I'll go on to the post game stats, but I'm probably not going to do a commentary over them. So no, actually, change my mind again. Yeah, I'll probably do it. So yeah. On to the post game stats. Okay, so this was the less serious but more fun game of the two. Blocked 13,000 damage, as you know. Also did I think it's 1,700 damage, or what is it? Right? Yeah, 1,700 damage, 1,100 base XP, and steel wall for obvious reasons because see the amount of damage or you see the amount of damage it bounced. So yeah. Um, Overall, I think this tank is still one of the best tanks tier for tier in the game, and I'm really curious to see what they do to it when they change it inevitably for the Panzer 7 line. And yeah, I'm guessing I'm going to review all three Tier 9 German tanks at the same time because I had the idea in one of the recordings. I'll probably wait though until all of them are in HD because then if they're all in HD, that will likely be the permanent damage models for at least the next year at least because the mouse chain will come in HD. The E75 is already in HD, so this is the last of the three Tier 9 German heavies to get HD-ified. If when it comes, I will definitely do the review of it. But the Tier 8s will already all be in HD because the VKA is coming in HD next batch. The VK100 will come in HD, and the what you call it, the Tiger 2 is already in HD and has been for a while. So yeah. So overall thoughts on this vehicle? Extremely strong. If you want something with ridiculous armor that will just pretty much take anything you throw at it on the chin and won't really give a shit, this is probably the tank for you. And if you don't like tanks that are a bit slow and a bit difficult to react to things, then this is probably not the tank for you. But then again, you wouldn't be playing the tank if you weren't interested in that, or if you didn't expect that sort of thing. If you know what I mean. So yeah. I think that's pretty much everything that I need to cover. So yeah. Let me know what you think of this vehicle, and thanks for watching. I will see you in the next one.